Hello, my name is Jennifer Collins, and today we're going to talk about the brain. We're going to be using brainfacts.org, and then I have a sheep brain that I have dissected so that we can look at the different parts. So, of course, the brain is our command center for our whole body. For a human, it weighs around 3 pounds. Of course, for a sheep, it's 8 ounces. So a lot difference, and you can see sheep are not the smartest animals, so of course they do have a smaller brain. So we do have right and left hemispheres of the brain, and one way to remember this is because if you were having a nerve issue on the right side of your body, it is actually the left hemisphere that may be damaged. And so I always tell my students to take their hands, cross them over where the backs of the hands are touching. And so this on the left side is what's affecting our right side of our body, and that will help you remember it. So the right hemisphere is going to involve our language and consciousness and decision making. And we do have billions of neurons on this side of the brain. All right, so now we're going to look over at the left hemisphere side. And so again, they're joined right directly down the middle. They do have a thick bridge between the two, but things cross over easily with the neurons. This part of the brain is more focused on specific functions that we need to carry out. So the frontal lobe, this would be the front part of the brain. This part here. And this is a very important part of our brain. It's our front part that is right behind our forehead. So this is going to help us with memories and emotion control. So the back part of the brain here, this is where our optical lobe is, and you hear the word optic, so that tells you right there that it has to do with our eyes. And so the visual information is arriving at the optic lobe from our retina, and so this is our area of sight. Okay, we're going to go back to the middle here. This is our parental lobe, and this is really helping us with our senses, how we sense the environment. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Is it loud? So a lot of our sensory issues are going to be here in the parental lobe. All right, temporal lobe, and that is going to be found here on the side. And the temporal lobe houses our memories, emotions, language comprehension. So we do have different layers. And so hopefully you can see this. We have different layers of the mass, and we have fluid. Of course, there is no fluid because this is a sheep brain that has been dehydrated, but you can see the different fissures and the neurons. The brain stem, see, this one it's been removed. Sometimes when you purchase a sheep brain, it will have the brain stem removed, but this is the bottom part here. And so this is divided, the brainstem is divided into 3 structures really on top of each other. And we have the midbrain, we have the pons, and the medulla oblongata. But this is what is going to be connected to the spine. We're looking at the midbrain. And this is where dopamine is going to be found. And many cells for Parkinson's disease patients, that's where the cells are dying. And so if you look here at the midbrain, this will be in this section here. The pons, an easier section to be able to see. You almost have two lobes that are very easy to see there. With the pons, that's important for attention. Being able to pay attention when your teacher is going over notes and things like that. All right, the medulla oblongata. Everyone loves to say that word. And so it's almost like a little track at the bottom. And it helps with your breathing rhythm. And then we have the lymphatic system inside, where we're going to have our olfactory bulb, how we're going to smell. And so you can see the inside. We do have a space here. And so we do have fluid, of course, on the outside of our brain, but we also have this little space here. That fluid can also be found here. Let's look at the hypothalamus. This one is a harder one to find in this section here. The hypothalamus is going to help with our endocrine system, releasing different hormones. The thalamus, which are two glands, this right here in this section. And so this is relaying information to the senses. And so letting our brain know, hey, that's too hot if you were to touch a hot plate. It really filters out a lot of sensory information that's coming in. If we go to a basketball game and it's really loud, our hypothalamus is helping us be able to regulate and get used to the sound. Our ventricles are 4 layers that are inside the brain that house our fluid that we need, that protects and nourishes and cleans out the brain. And this section is in this area right here. Pituitary gland, and this is a very difficult one to see on a sheep brain, but of course it's releasing the hormones that control a lot of our body functions and our behaviors. Will be a little bit difficult to see. It's right there. It's very tiny in a sheep. All right, our basal, this is a part of the brain structure that's controlling our voluntary movements and our behaviors and emotions. This is an area that's very easy to find. The cerebral, we turn it around. It is this back part here. And it's Latin for little brain because it is a lot smaller, but it does have billions and billions of neurons. It looks like cauliflower. And this is the first one that's easier for students to recognize. It does look a lot like cauliflower. And it's helping with our motor skills, detecting movement, and being able to move quickly. Our corpus callosum, and this is the wide area that we talked about with the fluid. It is an easy one to recognize. And you can use your poker if you have a dissection tool and be able to look at it a little bit better. Olfactory bulb. It is a difficult one to see on a sheep, but for the olfactory, it is helping with, of course, our sense of smell. We've got our cranial nerves. There's 12. And this website is great, brainfacts.org. You can look at each one individually and learn facts about them. So I want to encourage you to visit this website. There you go. So I hope this helped. You can purchase, if you could go to my website, sciencewithmisscollins.com. If you go to the very bottom, you will see a supply list, and I have a lot of great vendors that I recommend to purchase sheep brains, or maybe it's a cow heart, whatever we're going to be dissecting at the time. But I know many of us are not able to purchase a sheep brain, so I hope that you can use this video instead. All right, thank you so much.